The mic should be going out. Okay, so what happens if we do this? Do we have audio?
Who's the guy
That looks like audio.
conquered death?
Yay, audio.
That's Joe Hills. He plays for Nashville when he plays Minecraft. That's Joe Hills. That's Joe Hills.
So maybe we have to turn that down to 5,500.
One evening as the sun went down and our cooking coals were glowing, down the path came a party hiking, and they said, folks, we're all going. We're yearning for a portal far away in a tavern full of shouting. So join us, friends, and let's descend deep into Under Mountain, deep into Under Mountain. There run dungeons hot and cold, where the monsters surge and pushes, and the youngest runes are old, where the mimics all lie waiting, and the goblin werebats roost, all the wisps and wasps and the mezzoloss, the hidden pit where we'll all plummet deep into Under Mountain. Deep into Under Mountain, all our blades will sing like choirs, as our arrows strike like drum beats, and our green flame pops and pyres. Our barbarian will stomp a brood as the rogues dance shadow play. Oh, we're sworn to go at a great tempo. We'll chant our spells as we now delve deep into Under Mountain. Deep into Under Mountain, you'll always find new gear, and your old mundane accoutrement can be handed down, don't fear. The magic items you'll attune and the artifacts you'll find. There's armor with gems and weird potions and a propeller hat that lets you ascend deep into Under Mountain.
Music is a bit loud, okay.
Deep into Under Mountain, the mad wizard stood gates, and deep in can open portals. He left clues to activate.
This is a tech stream. Everything's going to be broken at first.
For puzzles, and he likes to throw his voice. We're going to delve to where he dwells, to the lowest tower, to seek his power deep into Under Mountain. I'll see you there, the lowest lair, deep into Under Mountain.
Okay. So we should. Yeah, I know the mic is hot, Jill Jackson. I'm giving feedback on the tech check as it goes.
The summer is past, but your days keep growing longer. There's no wind in your sails, but the storm's blowing stronger. Walking hard, standing tall, keeping your head up through it all. Fighting fires, spinning plates. Goodness, how'd it get so late? Lay your head down and dream. Lay your head down and lay your head down and dream. Lay your head down and just let your mind flow downstream. Sprawl out in a moonbeam. Lay your head down and dream. Joe Hills is filmed before a live streaming audience.
That's us. Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. And tonight, y'all are my live streaming audience. We are doing a tech check stream tonight. Now, if everything goes well, that means I'm going to get to play some HermitCraft and maybe record some footage. If everything doesn't go well, that's okay. That's why we're doing this today, not when I'm like, oh no, I've got to get this episode done right now, okay? We had a great episode go out with the Wordle Ghosts just a couple days ago, maybe 3 now, depending on where you live. But we are not in what I would consider production peril at the moment. We are in a good place where I've got the start of the next episode already recorded. I've got stuff to work on off camera on my laptop that I can do. Is the camera working? Yeah, the camera's working. Okay, good. I forgot to check that. Hi, it's me. I'm down here. Normally, I would have a text document with important links that I would copy and paste. But because I reinstalled literally the entire everything on the computer today, I completely wiped my desktop. Now, that is not as bad as it might be for some people, because this is not my primary, what in the computing world we call the daily driver. This is specifically a machine I only use for recording and streaming and game-related stuff. So we're going to create a new notepad file called streamlinks.txt. And we're going to save that in my documents folder, not in the where the host file is, because I was modifying that earlier. Okay, so I need to type in real quick, tips welcome via https://paypal.me/joehills. Now, in theory, I have backed up everything from the old version of this computer before we did this Windows reboot or Windows reset, right? But in the interest of making sure we don't copy over a bad config file or something that was causing the problems we were having before. Because I noticed that basically the computer seemed fine when I first got the new graphics card, but there were a few issues with some of the webcams. One of the webcams completely died. I got a replacement webcam. That seemed good at first, but then we started having all these weird crashes. So I'm like, okay. A lot of the problems I was having was while OBS was open, so I don't want to just manually copy, or I don't want to copy over the OBS config. I want to do a completely clean install of the operating system, completely clean install of OBS, where I manually re-enter any values that we might need. Thomas Osmar, tips 20, who says, "Hi, Joe. Promises are good to keep, don't you think?" Thomas, I agree with you in principle, but when you say it like that, I'm really wondering if I promised you something. So I apologize now if I failed you, because that seems ominous. But okay, either way, let's go ahead and test the face camera expansion system. Good time as any to test that. We're doing $20 milestones tonight, so here we go. Howdy, y'all. Grow Hills here, expanded as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. Dee-da-dee-da-dee, dee-da-dee-da-dee, dee-dee. And I manually copied over the filter, or not manually, I manually rewrote the filters for the chroma keying and stuff, and all the camera settings. So hopefully stuff looks good. I'm optimistic. Okay. So yeah, good evening, Cobalt Silver. Let's see, we got a lot going on here. One of the things we are experimenting with today is I am sending a higher bitrate than usual to Restream.io. And part of that is that in the long term, I want to... and Restream.io is the software that then bifurcates the RTMP... what do you call it? RTMP signal or data. Basically, the video that some people send either directly to Twitch or directly to YouTube, I send to an intermediary service that then relays it to multiple places. It used to be Twitch and Mixer and Twitter and YouTube. Nowadays, it's just Twitch and YouTube. But, you know, we might spin that up broader again in the future. Core concept, though. They have an option that allows you to send higher version or higher bit rates of the data to one place than another. And because Twitch doesn't give me transcoding because I'm not an affiliate or partner, I'm testing sending Twitch 720p data today while I send YouTube 1080p data. Now, this is not the end game for that. The actual end game is that I want to send Twitch 1080p data while I send YouTube like 1440p or higher. Maybe not 4K. Frame rate is stable, but it looks a bit low. Yeah, the camera frame rate, I might need to tweak that. when I'm in game here, I've got the game set to max out at 70, but try to stay around 60, and that seems generally to be working. I did play Pokemon Sword and Shield. Hey, Logic Pro 10 Gaming, who says good evening from the Black Minecraft community. Ah, thank you. Y'all are doing fantastic work, and I try to raid y'all whenever I get the chance. Okay, Minecraft looks a bit choppy. Okay, so I'm getting some feedback from the Twitch folks that... Okay, so that is true, though, Nibble. So right now, Twitch is limited to 720p 30, and YouTube is getting the full 1080p 60. Because I'm basically testing basically, because Twitch won't transcode my video, since I'm not a partner or an affiliate, I have to do that in my intermediary service if I'm going to amp this up to 1440p. It's too late to do that for this episode, because I already started recording the earlier part of this episode at 1080 60. But, yeah. So, core concept, Minecraft is running. I'm able to log in. I've got replay mod running. I've got prox chat. I can be like, hello, I am Corrales. But is Corrales actually? No, they're both AFK. I was going to say, like, I've tested prox chat earlier by jumping into Corrales' pool and yelling at him and flying away. Corrales has a new pool. We're not going to spoil that too much. But yeah, how is this? So in general, once again, the goal with the split transcoding is to allow ultimately to send like 12,000 kilobits a second to YouTube while I send 6 to Twitch. Twitch is choppy, but YouTube is smooth. See, it shouldn't be choppy. It should just be slightly... like 30 frames a second shouldn't be that much worse. Let me pull up the Twitch on my laptop real quick, making sure that I don't have that. Okay, so 720p source. I'm going to full screen that so I can see what it looks like when it's blown up. Let's increase the brightness some because there's a ton of lights in here. Okay, so I've got my laptop. Oh my gosh, trying to fly. I should have just done camera stuff. That's really choppy. Okay, yeah, y'all are right. That's choppier than it should be. It's running at 24 frames a second. Let me tweak those transcoding settings. This is a tech stream. This is what we're here to do today. Thank y'all for being patient while I do it. I clicked the wrong button there, so that's gonna... Uh-oh. Did I land somewhere? Whoops. Okay. Because Twitch won't transcode for me, so I can't send the same. Okay, so we're going to go to transcoding settings here. We're going to disable the auto settings. Okay. So, I have changed the transcoding settings. I am optimistic. I'm not sure if that's going to show up live for Twitch people. So it's still 720p. Honestly, I might have to kill the Twitch stream real quick. I'm just gonna blip the Twitch stream. Blip. Okay. So I have blipped the Twitch stream. Logic, actually, I don't really care about people liking the stream. It's a nonsense statistical algorithm thing. People are saying now YouTube seems off. Okay. So the data I'm sending to Restream.io is looking good. But how is it coming out on... How is it coming out on Twitch? Is it better now? Is it smoother? It seems like it completely froze there. But maybe that's just because I was standing very still and nothing was happening in the game. It's up to 60 frames a second in Twitch. So the goal is that people who are on cellular on Twitch, we don't want to go much above 4,200 megabits a second, or kilobits a second, right? So YouTube, we're going to be sending like 1,200 kilobits a second. Or 12 megabits a second, so that we can go up into high res on YouTube. But then we're going to have it transcoded down to like 720p 60 for Twitch, because there are some people who can't watch on YouTube for whatever reason. Or actually, hopefully we'll get it up to 1080p on Twitch. 1080p 60. But basically, I want Twitch to look just as good as it did originally, but those redstone dots are so that Scar can put a tree here. Okay. Yep, so this is a text stream. We're going to be doing a lot of text stuff to make sure that this works. Okay, so things I need to check. Let's see if the transition for the face camera works. Ooh, okay, that's good. For Minecraft, let's see. Okay, let's see if this works. We're going to have that also. So I'm adding a transition for Minecraft as well. So when I hide and show Minecraft, maybe one of them should be the opposite of the other. We'll have it pop back up from the bottom. Hold on. Is that working? Hopefully this is working. Okay, cool. So we're going to try and do a test recording. It goes up and then back down. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. Having it go up and then back down. Zoop, zip, zoop, zip. And then having me blur, 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 blur. I want to have a different animation for each one. I feel like the two different directions works better. Okay, awesome. I'm basically rebuilding all of the scenes from scratch because if I re-import all the old files, if there was something in there with a bad webcam config, we might be back to having the same errors we were having before, right? So that's no good. We don't want that. Okay. So. Whew. So that's fantastic. We got that going. We don't have the fonts installed on the computer yet to actually put in things like setting up Stream Now or whatever. But we can deal with that later. That is not an urgent problem. So I think the next thing we want to do is go back down here to... Oh, I randomly got a bunch of slime attack. Some slimes attacked me. So while I've been working on other stuff, like testing things, I've collected a lot of axolotls. So, you know, that's a success. Ooh, and look, here's some now. Whoops. This is a very good place for a brainstorming area, because I can just get axolotls as I go. Okay, so let's grab this one as well. Cheesiest says, seriously, YouTube looks almost as clear as if I was playing. So sharp. Jill Jackson says, way clearer than if I were playing. Okay. Hey, Allied Alex. This is kind of a weird stream to come back on. I am glad that you're back, though. But yeah, we're doing a tech check. I just completely reinstalled my operating system, and I have a fresh... completely fresh install of Minecraft, completely fresh install of OBS. So we're checking a bunch of things to see if they're working right now. So the long-term goal is going to be to actually have the YouTube and the recordings be at 1440p And then keep Twitch at 1080-60, because if I go any higher than 1080-60 on Twitch, a bunch of people won't be able to watch it. Isaac Thomas says, what prompted you to do all these updates? Since I got the new graphics card, OBS started freaking out about a bunch of different web cameras, and I couldn't figure out why, and I started researching it, and they're like, well, you need to install a particular Windows update to fix that, and that particular Windows update refused to install. And every time I tried to, basically, every time I tried to route around the problem, it was just like, well, you need this Windows update. And I'm like, well, for whatever's causing this Windows update to crash that I can't fix. Like, you reach a certain point where you're like, the only way to fix Windows update is to reinstall Windows. I tried several things. I spent probably 3 or 4 hours on it on Monday night, and I was just like, nope. At the point where I've spent 4 hours trying to fix Windows Update, it's a clean operating system install time. But also, this computer is only used for recording, streaming, and gaming stuff. This is not my editing computer. This is not my business computer. This is not... I don't do anything... I don't have any documents on this computer, right? I don't... This is where I record videos, and then as soon as I'm done recording the videos, I copy them to an external hard drive and then move them to the editing computer, right? Because this is, because I'm running games and stuff on this computer is always the riskiest kind of piece. How many computers do I have? That's a awkward question. Like, are you counting like servers and data centers too? And like, I have, a fallback editing desktop Mac Mini for if something happens to my laptop. I've got an old 5K iMac that my kid used for remote school. I've got a few bare metal Xeon servers for running Minecraft servers in the vague North American continent. I'm not going to go into detail about where those are. Gamer Girlie says, Twitch on desktop is offering me a choice of several things for this stream. Really? Okay, see, that's crazy, because Twitch... Really? Of course! Of course! When I'm trying to test routing around Twitch not giving me transcoding options, Twitch seems to have given me transcoding options. Ooh, is the microphone peaking? That's something we have to look at. That's a good tech check thing. So this microphone... Oh, boy. I need to tweak my microphone sensitivity. I am sorry. This is part of what we're doing. Also, let's turn off all these Windows sounds. Can I... Yeah, save sound scheme, no sounds. Okay. Okay. I wonder... Now, Twitch might have a setting where it sees, like, the word tech check or something like that, and it's like, oh, let's turn on all the things so that, for this check. And I'm like, oh, that's the opposite of what I wanted. I need to be able to check this. Okay. So we need to go back to microphone settings here. Input, manage sound devices. No. We want device property. No. Wait. Is my primary input device coming in through... No, that's wrong. Okay, we need to have it come in through there. And that needs to be set way lower for my normal sitting distance. Okay. Okay, so I should stop peaking now. Okay. Yeah, the face camera expands at certain tipping milestones, which I'm going to be... yeah, I haven't checked... well, now I just checked it. No, we haven't gotten any PayPal tips yet. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. But I know this isn't the most entertaining stream because I'm mostly changing microphone settings and stuff. Yeah, so a lot of people keep saying, Joe, why don't you use Linux? Well, the answer is because I use Linux every day, all the time. I love Linux. But everything I do in Linux is through the terminal. I have never, I don't use, like, I barely used to use X Windows. And then Wayland came along, and I'm even more behind. I don't, like, the last audio system I used in Linux was ALSA. Basically, I am really, really good at command line Linux. I run a ton of servers, both for myself and for freelance clients in it. No problems with Linux. But I am not ready. Honestly, admittedly, the last time I tried to use, like, desktop Linux with, like, X Windows and stuff was probably 15 years ago. And maybe it's better now. P. Marenkek says, Joe knows how to exit Vim. I exit Vim so many times a day. But my point is, I don't have the time right now to learn how Wayland works. Or whatever the sound system that replaced ALSA is. Like, it would be a whole thing. But yeah, so like I said, I love Linux. I use it every day, but I'm a command line guy. I'm not a GUI person. Okay. So Gracewinder says, I'm currently using X and ALSA. Can you still do that? I didn't even know if that was still an option, but okay. So, Amanda tips 5, who says, for the fun of it. Well, thank you very much, Amanda. That puts us 15 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. So, Thank you so much. Yeah. I really am optimistic. In the long term, I don't want to have to keep track of running 3 different operating systems. I'm hoping to consolidate down just to Mac OS and Linux. But that's like a 5 to 10 year goal. That's not a this year thing. That's very long term. Mr. Lance says, I mean, it is Linux. You can use whatever you want. Yeah, I kind of got the impression that X was no longer really being supported by a lot of the mainline distros, or that they were trying to phase it out. But because, like, I got the impression that a lot of the X developers moved over to Wayland, and so they just there was kind of a vacuum of people. So if X is still being supported, then that's actually really good to hear. But, like, I don't know what I would need to get OBS running on a Linux machine. This is actually a really good project for, like, I was talking about in the long term buying a second desktop. So when I have downtime like I did with this one, I can switch over. Building the second desktop to be a Linux desktop would be a good transitional step, because yeah, I'm going to revisit that in the, like, next 6 to 18 months when we get there, but we're not there yet. Alexandre Boy Lee tipping 5 says, more of just the fun for the fun of it, or more of just for the fun of the fun for it. Wow, that's a hard sentence. Thank you, Alexandre. Hey, Ben Sanders, glad you could catch me live. I'm gonna warn you, this is a weird one. Joe Enderman says you can install OBS from the command line. Yeah, but I still have to have OBS, like, be able to capture audio and video, which means I need an audio system and a video system. I could probably figure it out. I just don't feel like I have the runway to figure it out, if that makes any sense. And so maybe this, like I said, this might be a good Christmas break project over the new year, because, like, there's this kind of awkward time over the holidays where my daughter goes to see the other side of the family, and I miss her a lot. And I always try to have a project lined up for that time so that I'm not just like, I'm sad my daughter can't come to New Year's with me. But I do get her for Christmas, so, you know, I shouldn't complain. But, like, yeah, I'm thinking maybe like setting up Linux OBS over that time period would make a lot of sense. Thank you, Ben Sanders. I'm glad you appreciate my work. Nibble says the biggest change from Windows would be the video editing software. Well, so the thing is that I do all of my... Oh, thank you, Paul, who is sending me tweets. But apparently you're watching the stream because... yeah. Well, no, thanks, Paul. I mean, I think that I got this going, at least on the Windows side of things. But yeah, to get Linux going... Like, I should probably learn the Linux desktop at some point. What I would probably do, because most of my production servers are all Red Hat based, I should probably figure out Fedora desktop. And yeah, that's a good New Year's project. But yeah, what I was going to say is video editing isn't a problem because I don't video edit in Windows anyway. I video edit on Mac because I use Final Cut Pro. And there's the server reboot. We knew that was coming because it warned us. I didn't want to start too much of the dangerous stuff for the episode until after the server reboot. Kermit the Joe Hills here. Yeah, I am really angry about that CentOS switch. Don't get me started, Andrew. I come here to relax. This is my happy time, not my talking about CentOS time. Okay, in the meantime, thank you, Thomas, for tipping 10, who says, because I'm tired of squinting at Joe. Just to clarify, it was a promise from me to you, Joe. Oh, that's reassuring, Thomas, because I feel like I've been letting people down a lot lately. I've been kind of overtired, and things that I was supposed to get to people, I've been behind on. So I was like, oh no, is there even one more person that I promised something to 5 days ago that I haven't gotten out yet? But either way, here we go. It's time to expand. Alrighty, so that puts us now evenly 20 away from the next face camera expansion. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Mr. Lance says you could start with Arch Linux using terminal only and adding systems as you learn them. Maybe, but like the thing is, because I've done so much Red Hat stuff on the sysadmin side for the last, oh my gosh, how old? Oh no. I have literally been administering Red Hat Enterprise Linux systems for 14 years now. Okay. Yeah, like I'm kind of... It's one of those things where I would rather build on that with Fedora desktop. Because like the thing is, I have to keep up with Red Hat for my freelance clients anyway. And I'm running Red Hat stuff for the servers that I'm running for my own Patreon servers as well, just because at the point where I should use what I know, you know, it's like, in theory, it's like, well, you know, you could use Ubuntu because it's more accessible, blah, blah, blah. It's like, those are all great arguments, but like, I'm shorter on time than anything else, and people pay me to learn Red Hat stuff, you know? So, yeah, that it's just easier to leverage the skills that other people paid me to learn. Let's see if the server's back up yet. Really? Let me check the HermitCraft Discord to see if maybe there's a problem with the reboot, because there was a system change. There was a mod that was added. Hey, can you please check? Oh no, don't want to yell in all caps. Can you please check if there's an issue with the scheduled reboot? It doesn't seem to have come back up on my end, but I've got a fresh Windows reinstall, so maybe I missed something. So maybe the problem is on my PC. Thanks. Okay. Always be nice to your sysadmins. Yeah, this is actually the best time for restarts for the UK because it's like 3 a.m. there. Okay. Hey, Tracy from Outer Spacey. I am doing kind of okay. This is a tech check stream because I just reinstalled Windows, and now the server I'm trying to connect to is down. So let's just do some more tech checks with the single-player world. But yeah, you're most welcome for the raid. It's always fun hanging out with you on Don't Panic Flip stream. I realized that I think I have asked you several times. It wasn't just once that I asked you, are you the same Tracy that was on the Backbox Pinball podcast? It seems like every time that I listen to a really good episode of the Backbox Pinball podcast, there's like, and here's our friend Tracy. And I'm like, that Tracy seems real familiar. I wonder if that's the same Tracy I know. They need to like give more than just your first name, or maybe they've been giving more than just your first name and I'm really consistently incompetent. Oh no, I fell in a thing. Okay. From a tech check standpoint though, the frame rate here seems good. Like, yeah, okay. Oh boy, this is a really bad place to be in here. Ah, jeez. Because I am at a point in the game where I don't have any resources. I guess we could grab some of this dirt. Dang it. There it is. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though, is I don't know, like, if you have, like, a pinball famous identity, like, maybe, you know, your initials or whatever your IFPA is. I've had a long day. Reinstalling Windows is always fun. And I had to clean install everything else, so I'm basically going through and realizing what I'm missing as I go. Good place to check the frame rate is the F3 screen. Yeah, I have the frame rate capped at about 75, 80, so that way it doesn't overtax the GPU. Because if we overtax the GPU, then we're going to have bad compositing. Download Windows 95. It has a higher number than Windows 10 and Windows 11. Good point. Okay. So on this randomly generated new single-player world, things are looking good. Let's hit start recording. You know what I should have done is I should have pulled up the task manager first to see if the video encoder... Now, we're using the same encoder. Yeah, and Windows 2000 is actually my favorite Windows. Windows 2K Pro I used as long as humanly possible. Like, I probably used Win 2K Pro for 10 years. Like, because I did not like XP. Well, I remember you positively confirming that it was you talking about Weird Al. Oh, also, Tracy, I didn't mention this at Don't Panic Flip stream the other night, but I randomly was just going through the pinball category, and I forget this guy's name, and that's probably good, because, like, he was kind of a little bit negative, and it's bad for me to call him out if I did remember his name. But yeah, he was going through all the things about the Twippy Awards that he was like, could have done better. And in fairness, he wasn't just whining. He was like objectively like, they should have routed the audio like this because that would have bypassed this problem. They should have done this. They should have done that. And it's just like, well, this is really constructive feedback. Now it's very, very like, he had kind of a annoyed negative tone, but it was all like, these are the sorts of things that, like, if you put this in a bulleted list, somebody would want to hear it. But he got to you, and I'm like thinking, like, you know, I this guy doesn't know me. I don't know him. I don't want to be that guy who shows up in a stream for the first time and is like, oh hey, don't talk bad things about people I like. And he gets to you, and he's like, And Tracy's thing was fantastic, and it worked because you didn't need to hear it. The audio was a mess, but Tracy's costume was on point, and it was the funniest part of the entire presentation. Well done! And I'm like, okay. This is disaster averted. So, there you go, Tracy. You were apparently the owl of the ball. So, I'm not sure what's up with HermitCraft. I'm waiting on hearing back from one of our sysadmins. Okay. So, in general, hitting record doesn't seem to have broken anything. Now, that doesn't mean that the recording... Glad your presentation was exceptional. Exceptional. There you go. Hey, welcome to Will Lockwood Studios. We're waiting for the HermitCraft server to restart. We're doing a test recording here now. Oh, yeah, there are some really cool pinball tables out there. I am very disappointed I couldn't make it down to TPF to check out the P3 in person and try that new Weird Al game. But yeah, it was so cool getting to see you and Bex get to play it the other day. Okay, so